Hello, my name is Leslie Berger, and welcome to Renew. Renew is a show about the College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University. The College of Forest Resources promotes and enables the conservation, management, and wise use of your natural resources. Today's show is going to feature the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture, one of the 3 units within the College of Forest Resources. And here to represent that unit today is graduate student Madeline McFarland. Hey Maddie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It looks like you're going to have a great Christmas break there. You told me before the show started that you were visiting some family and friends in Diamond Head. So enjoy that break from campus.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
While you're here, though, I do appreciate you taking time to visit with us a little bit about the work that you're doing in the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture. You're working under Dr. Brian Davis on a waterfowl project or waterfowl wetland-related project. So could you provide a little overview of the work that you're doing?
Sure. So we are working in South Louisiana, specifically looking at a type of restoration technique that's commonly used there to combat marsh loss, and that's called marsh terracing. And all they are these earthen ridges that they build in shallow open water areas, typically areas that used to be healthy marsh but have been degrading over the years. And these terraces serve a number of purposes, but specifically for my portion of the project, we are looking at how these terraces benefit avian or bird habitat, I should say. And we are looking at breeding secretive marsh birds in the spring and summer, and then wintering waterfowl in the fall and winter, of course.
Okay, so you're getting out in the field then, and you're doing surveys to find out what species are present in these fields?
Yeah, that's correct. In the summer, we perform on-the-ground surveys, like you can see in this picture. I'm on the back of the boat, looking for any type of secretive marsh bird that might be out there using those terraces. And secretive marsh birds are really interesting in that they are an indicator of wetland health. So we're seeing how, or at least providing some sort of index to how these terraces benefit secretive marsh birds.
Okay, so one of the things you do in addition to looking to see who's there is you measure the different structures of the habitat to find out if it's providing what the birds need?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
So what are some of the things that have contributed to the loss of these habitats in the first place? You mentioned that these habitats are degrading, which implies the birds might be in some danger. So what are the factors that have contributed to this situation that has led to the terracing?
Well, in South Louisiana, or really any coastal area, one of the biggest impacts on wetland loss are severe weather events like hurricanes. This past year, we've had a pretty busy hurricane season. Hurricane Laura really hit the southwest side of the state pretty hard, and that has attributed to a significant portion of marsh loss. However, sea level rise is one of those, as well as development. Channelization, oil and gas development doesn't necessarily benefit the preservation of those shorelines.
Okay, so what are the value to you? You're talking about the value of those kind of terracing and protecting habitat for the birds. Are there values that people might not realize that are available to humans as well?
Yeah, marsh and intact shoreline provides a benefit to society, or I should say, I guess, to the people who live in those areas, in that it protects the surrounding area from impacts of storm surge, wind and wave energy, and things like that are associated with major weather events like hurricanes. Right. And without that intact marsh, you see a more severe impact from flooding or storm surge than you would see with that marsh.
Right, because those grasses and things help slow down the waves, help keep the soil in place, and just slow down the impacts of that storm.
Yeah, exactly. It's like physics.
Right. There's a reason why they made you take that at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So where do you see yourself going next after you finish this project?
Well, I'm hoping afterwards that I will continue to work within the wetland restoration and conservation sector. Most of my experiences through undergrad and even up to this point have been related to waterfowl and waterbird ecology and wetland conservation. And so whether that's with a state or federal agency or a non-governmental organization, I really hope to be in a position where I can continue to do good work for wetland conservation.
Well, you're an inspiration to other young women who might not see that waterfowl and wetlands conservation is an area they might want to move into. I know for a time when I was working in waterfowl for a state agency, I was one of the few. And so I'm encouraged to see you and the work that you're doing, and I wish you the best as you move forward. Thank you for taking time to visit with me today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Want a career as big as the outdoors? Want to have an impact on the environment? The College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University delivers hands-on training, ensuring clean air and water, wildlife habitats, and a sustainable environment. Creating new wood products and retooling old ones for today and tomorrow. Find a career in whatever path you choose. Majors in forestry, natural resource and environmental conservation, sustainable bioproducts, wildlife, fisheries, and aquaculture. Want a career as big as the outdoors? Choose the College of Forest Resources at Mississippi State University.
Discovery. It tells our history and determines our future. At Mississippi State University, we're digging deep, unlocking an understanding of our past, validating it. Middle East exploration by faculty and students is uncovering evidence that unravels ancient mysteries. Scholars have long thought of the biblical kings David and Solomon as mythological figures. Our research offers evidence that supports their existence, boosting MSU into an international league of experts on archaeology. Now we're changing the way people think about the past, opening up new possibilities of understanding for future generations. Digging deeper, learning more.
Hi again, welcome back to Renew. We've been learning a little bit more about the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture at Mississippi State University. We're going to visit now with graduate student Taylor Gibson to find out about the work he's been doing within the department. Thanks for joining me, Taylor.
Hey, thank you for having me.
I appreciate you taking time away from your vacation time to visit. So tell me about how you ended up in the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture.
Well, actually went to undergrad at Mississippi State, got there in 2012. Fortunate to work under Dr. Brian Davis, same advisors now. Ended up was fortunate to, after graduation, work multiple states across the country, gain a lot of valuable experience, and got this great opportunity to come back and work on this collaborative duck project.
Okay, so tell me a little about the project that you are doing. I know you're working with wood ducks.
Yes, ma'am. It's actually a pretty large project. It's collaborative between 8 states at the moment, potential to add more states into it between multiple agencies and universities all throughout the Southeast and the Atlantic coast.
Okay, so what...
we're wanting to...
Go ahead. I'm going to say, so what are you trying to solve in your project?
We're trying to estimate female recruitment from nest boxes, so female ducklings surviving to the next breeding season, and estimating general annual duckling production from these nest boxes.
Okay, so why is this important?
It's important. The wood duck's actually a pretty good success story, and many people don't know because of their numbers now, but they've regained quite a good population, and nest boxes played a large role in that. Deforestation takes away a lot of the natural cavities, and so these boxes just provide supplemental nesting locations for them in areas where especially they may be lacking.
So how are you estimating recruitment or retention of those chicks to adulthood? You mark the individuals?
We're marking the individuals. You can see in this picture here, we place a marked web tag on them. All of them are individually numbered, and with hopes to catch them again the next year. And with that, we're able to see or know where they hatched. They know where they're nesting the next year.
Okay. So that gives you an estimate then. You know how many you started with because you have those nest boxes. You know you started with 12 eggs or 15 eggs. You tagged X number of ducklings, and then you make an estimate then how many actually survive to adulthood.
Yes, ma'am.
So is there a reason why they're focusing on the females or the hen wood ducks?
Well, the females, they produce the eggs. The males can reproduce with multiple females, so the females are the more important. Like that's where we're getting our population from. They're the source.
Right. So this gives you an idea then regionally how much production is actually happening. And I appreciate you bringing in the fact that wood ducks are a success story, because this was a species that at a period in history was really in danger of becoming extinct. The numbers were very, very low because of habitat loss. But through a combination of habitat protection and science and these nest box program, it really turned things around for the population to now they're an important game species and really an indicator of wetland health. So I can see where this would be a project of regional importance, and it's exciting that you're able to work with that. Where would you like to go next?
Ideally, stay in the waterfowl area. Throughout undergrad, that's been my highest. I've been most interested in waterfowl. So whether it be a state or federal agency or an NGO, that's the overall goal, is to stay in the field of waterfowl and wetlands.
Okay, so do you see yourself being a researcher like you're doing now, or would you rather be on the management side where you're on the ground providing that habitat, or working with private landowners, or what within the dimensions that are available to you, what do you think you might want to explore?
My interests definitely lean more towards the management side, the boots on the ground aspect of it, but the research aspect is definitely an importance and interesting in itself. So I guess see how it goes.
Right. Well, and it's also important to be able to assess the management that you do, which so does give you a little bit of that research question in there to find out if what you're doing actually gives you the results that you want. So that's really good. Well, I wish you the best in the work that you're doing moving forward. I'm excited for where you may end up, and I'm glad that Mississippi State was able to help you along that way.
Thank you, ma'am.
So enjoy your holiday. For the rest of you, I hope that you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about the Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Aquaculture at Mississippi State University and the kinds of work that is happening across the options that are available, from songbirds to marsh birds to hunted species like wood ducks. There's important work that's going on, and we are pleased to be part of the conservation of wildlife in Mississippi as well across the Southeast. Until we meet again, please stay safe. I've been your host, Leslie Berger.